In today's video, I want to share with you how I went from starting from absolute zero, how this book specifically changed my life, and how I made my first 6 figures online using Clickfunnels and the strategies that I learned from the Clickfunnels co-founder and CEO, Russell Brunson. Let's dive in. One of the things that really made everything for me more important was getting pregnant. My wife getting pregnant, and me waking up at 6 a.m. being like, "You said what?" She's like, "I'm pregnant." And me being like, holy crap, like we're here, we can't afford rent barely, we can't buy food, like we literally had to go outside to my car. We found coins there and we were like, okay, so now we have food for another week. And that's how bad it was. And I let it, for some reason, I kind of waited for things to click before I got started. I kind of waited for things to feel like I was ready, like it was time. But it wasn't until my back was against the wall. It wasn't until I had to take action and before life kind of made me step up my game that I truly went all in. So it was at the moment that my wife told me like I'm pregnant that I realized like I'm not gonna be a father who can't support my family. I'm not gonna be a husband who is going to be a failure. And it wasn't that I didn't have ideas. It was just that I had ideas, but I didn't understand how to execute. And I guess it comes from being afraid of other people's opinions. I knew that if I got started, like it would be hard to face the reality, the society, the external pressure from people, friends. And trust me, it happened. Like this, the moment that I went public with like me going into business and all of that. Keep in mind, I was also trying to become a professional soccer player. And so like the pressure from outside, I felt like it was super huge. Anyways, I don't have any reason to come up with excuses. It just like the reality is like it took me 8 months to get my first client. And it wasn't until I made a decision to go out and be like, how can I find somebody and pay them for their advice to show me how it's done. That's it. And so when people ask me now, it's like, how do I get started? I'm like, pay somebody who can show you how they did it. Not theory, not a school. That's why I dropped out of college. But we'll save that story for another time. This is the book that I saw. I went online and I'm like, how to make money online. And I saw Russell Brunson hold up this expert secret. It was an ad like where the book was on fire and he's like, my book is on fire. And it's truly a fire book. Like it's so awesome. I'll put a link in the description. It's like $7 for shipping and you get a free book. It's amazing. It's life-changing. And it was at that moment that I started realizing the power of sales funnels. Not just because sales, like Clickfunnels is such a good software, but I started understanding like, wow, if I can learn how to communicate on video, trust me, I was so shy. I was so nervous and so shaky when I did my first videos, like live streams. It was hard. But I understood like if I can understand marketing and sales funnels, the psychology behind them, how people buy, like human behavior and purchase behavior, then I could make money going into whatever industry I wanted to. So I was like, I have to learn this. So I went online and I was like, the next step is I have the book, I have some information, I have the sparkle, I have the fire inside of me. Now where can I go and learn things to master the skill? Tom Bilyeu, the founder of Impact Theory, calls this skill acquisition. How can I get more skills? How can I acquire new skills that can elevate my value to the marketplace, and then I solve a problem and I get paid? And that's why I a lot of times I say like the only thing you have to do is solve problems for profit. And that's what I did. So embarrassing side note, I borrowed money from my 2 younger brothers. Shout out to my bros. And they actually trusted me with, I don't know if they trusted me or they're just like, whatever, bro, like, I don't think you're gonna make it, but hey, here you go. Or they knew that I was crazy, but eventually I would figure things out. And so they're like, okay, here's money, go and buy the thing and good luck. But they borrowed me money. I went and invested into my first mentor, my first coach. And literally, I asked myself 2 questions, like, number 1, who's doing what I want to do? Number 2, who's got the same values and sort of personality and characteristics that I want to have? So like, who's ethical? Who's like a good, human being? Who's like somebody that I can truly trust and not just a hype marketer who's out there trying to take advantage of people. And I really wanted someone who's like ethical. That was, and it is still to this day is very important. And anytime I look for a course or a coach, I ask myself like, who's somebody that I could truly call a friend and a brother and family. And that's why a lot of times I call you guys family, because like I love my audience, I love you guys, I love connecting with all of you. And I think there's specific personality of people who are attracted to my content. I try to just focus on doing the right thing. And so anyways, that's what you want to keep in mind if you invest into somebody. A little side note there. And so next thing I did is like I paid this mentor to show me, and the first thing that he went through like the ins and outs of sales funnels. And it was kind of taking this book and the other book from Russell Brunson, .com Secrets, and showing me how to use it in any industry. So like, how do I come up with an offer? How do I communicate my message? How do I create content on social media? How do I grow an audience? Keep in mind, 4 years ago, I didn't talk English. 4 years ago, I didn't know how to communicate online. I could never have sold anything to anyone online. And now, people are coming to me through inbound marketing. So like, I don't have to go out and do cold emails, cold calling, networking events. It's, leveraging social media and funnels. Like on social media, you provide value. On funnels, you convert them into leads by giving something of value. And then, selling them things on the back end that can change their life and help them with whatever they value. So what I started doing is I started looking at the marketplace, and this is kind of my first big transition into business. And this is what changed everything for me, because it was at the moment that I made my first $1,000 that everything changed for me. And I realized that if I can get one client, I can just get another one. And this was different than having a job, because in my job, I was my previous jobs, I had 15 different jobs before I was 21. And I always realized that, the more I work, it wasn't like if I provide more value, then I got paid more. It was always like, if you work longer hours, you'll get paid more, but it's still the same, $7 per hour, or well, in euros. But it was more like 8, 9, 10, that sort of range. And so it's crazy to think now that I charge $500 for an hour of consulting. Probably gonna increase that, but it's just because of like the value, the size of the problem that you solve, and that's equal to what you can charge. So that's what I did. I started learning Clickfunnels. I started going into businesses and being like, hey, I'll help you with your marketing. I was like, hey, why are you not using social media and funnels, and why are you just doing hope marketing? You put stuff out there, but you're not tracking anything. You don't know if it's making you money. You're not. And I started seeing these patterns like, wait a minute, they're doing it in real estate industry, they're doing it in this industry, and like brick and mortar, they're doing it here, and you should have this. And I wasn't that good at ClickFunnels yet. I just understood like the customer journey of like a value ladder of like, hey, unaware people, make them aware of your stuff, make them interested in them, convert them, and sort of go down that funnel. But it wasn't until I, for the first time, started using ClickFunnels to get my first client online without having to go anywhere offline. I saw the power of like, wait a minute here, somebody just messaged me, they saw my funnel and they want to work with me. And so like, I think in the beginning I did a couple of sales calls. I didn't call them that. I just jumped on the phone and instead of being a closer, I said, introverted as I am, I just said, how can I provide value to them? I asked myself that question, and I jumped on a call, and at the end of the call, they're like, how much is it if you help us? And basically I just said, like, let me write you an email. I suck at selling, I still do. But because some people say like introverts are the best salespeople because they can listen. And so at least I could like listen and take notes what people wanted. So I just sent them an email with what they have told me that they wanted, and with what I knew I could help them. And even if there were things in the beginning, I'll be honest, like there were things that was freaking me out, but I said, we got YouTube, we got Google, so I'll first say yes, I'll first jump, then I'll figure things out as the parachute open. So that's what I did. And like I said, I got my first client at 1,000. Well, first I started at like 300, not 300 a month. I actually had some clients at 300 a month, which is crazy, but I sold like my first website. Back then it was more like WordPress and Wix, and I spent so much time hating my life in Wix and WordPress. And now it was more like we have Clickfunnels. Nowadays it's like, bro, Clickfunnels is life. It is the difference. It is, anyways, it's just crazy to me, the power of Clickfunnels and the easy, website builder and the power that it can have, and the trackability to show people how they're making money. I can just charge more and help more people. And so that's amazing. But that was kind of like my moment of realization where I was like, bro, like if I can just set up funnels, provide value, convert a percentage of those people. Last video I shared with you how I made 67% of those people who land on a landing page opt in and actually download something, give me their email address, which is a lot. Like 67% opt-in rate is great. Like ask anybody in the industry, it's awesome, it's great. So that's kind of the first transition that I had. And then some of you know, if you've been following me online, you know that after I grew that to 6 figures and a lot of people start asking me like, hey, how do you get clients? Like I heard that you're not doing cold calls, you're not doing cold emailing, you're not even doing cold outreach on Facebook, you don't message people asking them to buy your stuff. And I was like, no, like I hate that stuff. And so for me, it's always been like, how can I provide value for free? And then I know that sales are gonna come because I have like this servant mentality of like, how can I help more people? And I think when you do that, people can see it and they can be like, man, I trust this person. That's kind of my strategy there. So like I said, I started making like 1,000 per client, and it was great. It was a sense of freedom and control, because I knew the power was in my hands to be like, the more I work, the more I'll make, not just per hour, but per client. And so I actually started hiring people, and I learned a ton about like, who should you hire? How should you, at one point I had 3 employees, and I was like, I kind of learned how to be a manager, but not to the point that I got really good at it. I didn't. And this is interesting. I think it's a big lesson for you as well if you're growing your business, is to make sure that you're keeping the role that you want to have, not just the role that is like natural for the progression of the company. And we've seen this with companies like Gymshark. The founder of Gymshark is a young founder, and he decided to step down as a CEO after making millions of dollars, because he realized, I'm not a CEO, I'm a marketer. So he stepped down to be the chief marketing officer and not the CEO, and they hired someone for that. For me, it was kind of the other way, because I realized like, I don't want to hire a CEO and grow a huge company yet. I want to be in a creative role. And so I ended up letting people go, and they, thank God they found like good, other positions. But for me, it was like, it was so hard for me that I even questioned why I became an entrepreneur in the first place. I went from being a creative person who can build stuff and take someone's idea and vision and turn that into reality through websites, social media, and sales funnels. I became a manager and had to be like, and I suck at that, like directing and leading people like, hey, here's what we do next, and that sort of thing, because I had no background. I'm a college dropout. How should I know how to manage client communication versus client expectations, and then employees, and team building and system building? And I'm just a kid, and you know what I mean? It's like, it was hard. And so I ended up letting them go, and I ended up just focusing on becoming really good at what I did instead. And a lot of times I'd said no to clients because I was capped. I was like, no, this is all, this is all I can do for now. And I think if I would have made a decision to be like, I don't care about what I love doing, I just want to become that leader and grow a huge business, I would have grown so much faster, because I would have hired people, then focus on selling, hiring people to fulfill, and getting more leads, sell, and then fulfill. So it's like attract, convert, and deliver. But I didn't want to do that at that stage. I still don't want to do that at this stage. I want to be in a creative position because I'm happiest that way. I feel fulfilled by being creative, and I think that's a huge lesson as well. I shut down my 6-figure agency. I shut it down, and I realized like, man, I'm not doing what I want to do. I'm not working with my dream customers, and nothing wrong against like the customers that I had, but it was just like, I want people like me. I want people who think like me, who act like me, who talk like me, who value things like me. That might sound weird to some of you, but the reality is that I just wanted to build a business that gives me freedom for me and my family, while making sure that my pursuit of becoming better every single day is like, I stay true to that. So I don't just try to go out and build business to make money. I try to become a better person, to have more discipline, to grow acquire new skills and skill stack, if you will. And solve bigger problems for clients. And it's happening. It's like I'm getting bigger and bigger clients, but now it's my dream clients, my dream customers, because I know who I'm targeting. I know who I'm speaking to. And it only happened once I became true to myself. It's like, who do I truly want to work with? Who do I, you know what I mean? And so that's like a big lesson that I learned. And I think if you apply it to your life, your life will never be the same. That's freedom. Is like being able to do what you love and not focus on the millions of dollars yet, but focus on making sure that you do something that you love to do, something that you're passionate about. And that there are gurus that are gonna tell you that passion comes later. Just do something, for 10 years and build a business without focusing on your passion. Then you can live your passion on your free time. I'm a little bit different in that sense, that I realized that, man, I wanna make my work not feel like work. And I can confidently say that that's what I've reached right now, where work doesn't feel like work, okay? I'm literally sitting at my computer building funnels and doing all of this, and I'm like, time has passed so fast, I didn't even look at the watch. And I used to work in my other jobs. I used to work at jobs where I would literally look at the time every 15 minutes, being like, when is this day over? Like, when can I go just for like a break and go home, and Fridays and all of that. And that's what I want for everyone. That's what I want for you, is like finding a thing. It doesn't have to be a business. It could be a job, but making sure that you do what you love, because that's the goal, is happiness, fulfillment, and not just money, right? Like, money is good. It's a tool. It's great. And money is not evil. Don't even get me started on that point. That's another video, And so to wrap this up, if I were to leave you with 3 actionable steps that you can take, it's number 1, what is your passion? Figure out, what do you love to do? What would you do if it has to be free? If money wasn't a thing, you would have to do it every single day. What would you do? Number 2, ask yourself, where are you qualified to actually help people? So like, whether it's a course, where are you qualified to teach people? If it's consulting, where are you qualified to help people? Number 3 is, what is the problem in the marketplace that you see people having? So like, you can Google it, you can look at books, you can look at YouTube videos, and you can ask yourself, like, what are some of the things that people are asking for? Like, what is the problem that you solve in a marketplace? If you're a personality brand, it could be like, I help single women get over their ex, or I help married businessmen create a business and a marriage that they're proud of. So like, think about the specific outcome that is combining your love for psychology, for an example, and then your qualification of marriage and business to then be like, pair those 3 together. So hopefully that makes sense. If you like this video, make sure you hit that subscribe button and you smash the like button. That way we can help more people. That's kind of how YouTube works. And my question to you is, what is it that you want to learn more about when it comes to Clickfunnels, to sales funnels, marketing? Just comment that below and I'll make a video and covering the most requested ones. And that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for being here. Love you all, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.